Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I would like to begin by thanking our guests for joining us. And now I have a question for my fellow Toastmasters. How many of you have not given a speech since we started doing these Zoom meetings? How many of you haven't done a speech this year? Well, I'm here to urge you to contact Frank Barragan and schedule your next speech. At the beginning of every meeting, we always ask our guests, what do you want to get out of Toastmasters? Do you remember when you were a guest? What was it that brought you to Voces Latinas? Do you want to become a more confident speaker? Do you want to become a more skilled speaker? Well, there's only one way to do it, by standing here and giving more speeches. And I know there might be a few reasons why you might be hesitant to schedule your next speech. The most obvious one, of course, is you are afraid of public speaking, which is probably the reason you joined Toastmasters to begin with. And I remember that one of our former presidents, club presidents, Melissa Stevenson, once gave a speech about how Voces Latinas helped her overcome her fear of public speaking. She said that she came close to dropping out of grad school just one semester shy of earning her master's degree, just to avoid a mandatory public speaking class she had to take. When she gave that speech, I was very surprised to find out that Melissa had a fear of public speaking, because when I met her, she was already a very talented speaker. I think most of the time when she spoke, she won awards. So how did she go from this person that was willing to give up everything in order to avoid public speaking to this wonderful speaker, president of a Toastmasters club, by doing this, by standing in front of you and giving speeches? And maybe at the beginning, her speeches were not great, but with each speech, she gained confidence, she gained skills, and of course, she got feedback, which helped her become a better speaker. And any of you can do that. So don't be shy, schedule your next speech. Maybe the reason you haven't given another speech is something simpler. Maybe you just don't know what to talk about, or maybe you started to write a speech but are stuck. Not to worry. That's why we have VO Cafe. Every month, Voces Latinas hosts the VO Cafe precisely to help our fellow Toastmasters with writing their speeches. So definitely take advantage of this wonderful resource. And sorry, can I see the timer? Take advantage of this wonderful resource. And you also have your mentor. You can go to your mentor for help with writing a speech, coming up with a topic. And if you don't have a mentor yet one other reason to contact Frank Barragan. He can match you up with a great mentor who will help you come up with topics. If you're having writer's block, help you with writing your speech. So don't let that stop you from signing up to give your next speech. Or maybe the reason you haven't given a speech is just that you're overthinking it. You're thinking about everything that could go wrong. And I know a thing or two about things going wrong while giving a speech, as you just saw a few seconds ago. But during another one of my speeches, not once, but twice, I forgot what I was going to say. So I had to stop and collect my thoughts. And while those pauses probably a few seconds long, to me they seem eternal, especially with all eyes on me. But when I look back at that experience, I don't see it as a negative one. Because when things don't go as planned, both both when giving a speech or just in life in general, there's always a positive, because there's always lessons to be learned. What were the lessons that I learned that day? One, I learned to be more prepared. Out of respect for my fellow Toastmasters, of course, when I show up to give a speech, I have to be more prepared. Number two, I learned that it is okay to make mistakes. It's no big deal. So what, twice I stopped during the middle of the speech. I did not die. The world did not come to an end. And those of you that were there during that speech, you probably don't even remember that speech. And if you do, pretend you don't. Okay, fellow Toastmasters. And the final and most important lesson I learned that day is that if I'm gonna fail or I'm gonna make a mistake during a speech, or maybe even sometimes I'll give a good speech, there's no better place to do it than here at Voces Latinas or at Toastmasters Club. Why? Because giving a speech in a Toastmasters Club is very different than giving a speech at work or in any other place, because here you're surrounded by a group of your cheerleaders. Everybody in that room, whether it's a virtual room like this one or a real room, wants you to succeed. Everybody wants, and if this speech that you give that night is not the best, that's fine. We look forward to seeing you give more speeches and seeing you improve with each speech. So, fellow Toastmasters, would you please contact Frank Barragan and schedule your next speech and give us the honor of seeing you grow as speakers, Mr. Toastmaster?